Welcome back for another Sins of a Solar Empire 2 video. Today we are going to feature the brand new Oblivia Dreadnought in the DLC that was released yesterday. This is a super capital ship for those that haven't been following along with the patches. As I said before, this is a DLC only ship, and it is available in Tier 4 after you have researched the Titan Foundry for the Advent Wrath faction. The Oblivia Dreadnought has 600 durability, 8,500 shield points, 1,650 armor points, 100 armor strength. And then we'll do hull 7,250 hull points. For those that don't know how armor strength works, first you take a weapon that's damaging your durability. So let's just assume we have a 600 pierce weapon hitting the ship. We have a 600 durability, so it negates it. Then armor strength is a value of 100 divided by, not this armor 100, but just a constant 100 divided by 100 plus the armor strength of a ship. So in the case of this one, you essentially have 100 divided by 200. So all damage, regardless of pierce, does 50% damage to armor. And then if we have something that has 0 pierce, you first take the durability versus the pierce stat, and you do, in this case, it would be 100 over 700, and I don't know that one off the top of my head. It's going to be in like the 18% range. So you take 18% damage if you have 0 pierce. Then you do the armor strength on top of that if the armor is taking damage, which would be half. So for 2 armor, you are doing 9% total damage. Getting into the rest of the stats, antimatter starts with 415, has a max speed of 650, and I believe it comes with, there it is, 3 fighter wings, 2 fighters, and 1 bomber to start with. I'm select that. For the weapons, it has 6 super heavy plasma, which I believe is a new weapon just for this ship. It has 4 heavy plasma, 12 medium plasma, and 7 heavy laser. For those 6 heavy plasma, it does 12.5 DPS at base with 1,000 pierce. The regular heavy plasma does 5 DPS at 750 pierce. And then the medium plasma, there's 12 of them, does 5 DPS for 600 pierce. So a very, very pierce heavy attacking ship. It also has heavy lasers, which does 7.5 DPS and 300 pierce. You will note that there is no point defense on this ship. So if you need point defense, you'll have to find it on something else. So going over the weapons really quick, we'll select it. The one thing I do want to note right away is on the tail is the medium plasmas. There are 8 of them along this, I can't unselect, along this back section, on this 4 on this side and 4 on this side, and they only shoot backwards. They're pretty close. They might actually have a little bit of forward, but it's mostly going to be alongside the side of the ship here. But it still does 600 pierce, but you only have 4 forward-facing medium plasmas. Actually, I take that back. Looks like they're all backwards facing. So then in the middle of the ship, you have the other 4. The last 4 is right here, is these 2 here. And then these 2 on this side, they are also rear facing. So your medium plasma, while it does have quite a significant pierce and quite a significant DPS and count, are all rear facing. So if you're counting something that's shooting directly at a ship, ignore that for anything straight in front of it. On the front, you will count all 6 of the heavy plasmas. You'll note that the firing arc is a little bit odd. But for the most part, I think that they will shoot forward. I haven't tested it yet, or it'll shoot out to the sides at whatever's in the firing arc. But it's got a little bit of an arc there. And then the heavy plasmas, there are 4 of them. 1, 2, and then 3 and 4. So this is the heavy plasma that's going to be shooting at most things, and then the super heavy plasma is if something happens to be in their firing arc. And I haven't done a full test on it in game. Maybe I'll do a gameplay later and see how it does. So to level it up, we want this one. So you have 8500 shield at level 1 with no upgrades. Then it's 11,900 with full upgrades, which is a pretty significant. It's almost 3,500 extra shield. Armor only goes up about 200, but armor strength goes from 100 to 140. So instead of reducing damage by 50%, it's going to be a little closer to probably about 35% damage to armor, including the durability. Don't forget that. Then hull points of 9425 versus 7250, so about 2200 extra hull. And then antimatter goes from 415 up to 540. If we look at, and then we'll talk about the skills real quick. So there are, I think, 3 pretty good skills on this ship, to the point that you're probably going to have each of your Oblivia Dreadnoughts with different skills, just because they serve such different functions. So the first one is the Psykinetic Blast. I'm going to select my level 10 so I can do it. So it starts with a cooldown of 45 seconds, 10,000 range, and it's a pretty good arc. Antimatter cost of 100, which is a pretty good amount for this ship, but we're not going to be casting too many things, so it's really that's the only thing holding it back, really. Damage, it is 400 damage flat, and then where is it? It's 50% psi power because I already have 100 on this one because it's already all the way buffed up. So it's 400 base plus 50% psi power with 500 pierce. And then it has an effect if target can move. So if the target is capable of movement, it will be violently pushed away from the Dreadnought. And now why that's important, you can see that that's our weapon arc, and it actually pushes you a little bit further away than your auto attack range. So leveled up, this goes from 45 seconds all the way down to 20, and it goes from, what did I say, it's 400 damage all the way up to 750. And then this one I'm playing around with the psi power just to see what I could do with it, but it still keeps that same 50% psi power. So in my opinion, this is a good single target ability. It's going to quickly deal damage to kind of whatever it's hitting. I don't think it's AoE. I haven't tested it 100% yet. It'd be kind of nice if it was area of effect, but I highly doubt it. And you may be able to just use this as a push to get something away that you don't want near you, such as like another enemy super capital. I don't know if it would work on a Titan. I assume it would because they come out at the same point, but it'll be a little different. It'll be fun to test this one when I play a game. Second one is called Subsume Energy. It warps the containment fields to envelop enemy vessels and instantly transfers a small amount of antimatter back to the Oblivia, and it lowers the weapon reload on the ship that you use it on or use it against. And it does look like it's an area of effect, so you can probably hit it on just about everything. And you'll get back 20 antimatter per ship that you hit, and it has a base of 5% increased reload, which then has a 10% psi power energy, or 10% per psi power reduction as well. Leveling this up, it goes by increments of 5% on the base, and you get an extra 5 of antimatter stolen, and then lowers cooldown and increases duration also in the direction of 5. So you end up with a 65-second cooldown with a 40-second duration of 30% energy weapon reload. Now, energy weapons vary across the factions. As I understand it, this for Vasari would be the beams and the pulse weapons. On the tech, I don't think it's the main weapons. I think it would only be beams. So this may not be super effective against a tech player. Actually, I gotta select it. Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else other than beams. I think this is just a beam reduction for tech. And then for against Advent, this is a laser and beam reduction only. It does not affect plasma in any way. The next one is Volatile Plasma. So you have a 15% chance to get a Volatile Plasma stack on a enemy target that you are shooting at with any of your weaponry. If you if you level this up, you get an extra 5% chance on every single shot that you shoot, and every shot essentially gives you a stack, and each stack gives you an extra 5 damage per second with 1,000 pierce for 15 seconds. So you can stack this all the way up to 10 times, which gives you 50 damage per second if you have full stacks. And then it has a secondary effect. If the Oblivia gets destroyed, it does, I believe it's area damage around the ship. So it's got 3,000. Do we have anything? So 3,000 is going to be 1/3 of that. So it's going to be probably about to here. That you do extra bonus damage, kind of like a suicide, I guess, if you do get destroyed. But we'll go all the way up. So you get a 40% chance to get stacks. The damage rate does not change, but the duration that it lasts on a ship increases in length. So I think I saw it go from 15 to 20 seconds. And then you have the destruction of your ship goes all the way up to 2,000 damage with essentially full pierce. So this is a good one to kind of wear down an enemy. I don't know how much. I mean, the pierce is really nice. It'll help you get through Titans pretty quickly. It'll help you get through star bases pretty quickly. I'm very interested to see how this works in practice. Just because I'm trying to think. So if you probably only want, I think only one of your ships can have this effect stacked on a target at a time. So unless you know that you're going to be fighting either a multi-front or a wide enemy fleet, and you need 2 of these targets or 2 of these ships targeting with this destruction, then you probably only want it on one, and we'll talk about which one it would be on if you're going to try some builds in a little bit. And then the last one is Stasis Beam. You get it at level 6 and you get it at level 10. So it uses a Psykinetic Lance to create holding fields around a target to disable it, and you weaken its defenses in the process. So I haven't tested it, and let me do a quick spawn in of a ship. And we'll just go ahead and throw that there.
Before the enemy.
Slow it down so they don't run away. Alright, looks like it holds it in place pretty good. There's the lance. So it's holding it. Holds it in place, which I didn't get to the buff in time. There we go. Phase disabled, can't launch anything. Armor regen, hull regen, shield regen disabled. So it looks like you can move, but you can't do anything, which is a little interesting, I think. I think it's a good skill to have. It's going to let you either catch a high priority capital ship, high priority super capital, or high priority Titan, and this will be a good skill to level up on any of the. If you get all 3 of them, it'll be a good one to have on all 3. So as far as builds go, the way that I see it working is you probably want 2 points in Stasis Beam. when you can get them. And you have a couple options. You can either go with the Psykinetic Blast build, which is essentially a sniping build, but it's not that much bigger than your actual damage range. Looks to be just a little bit bigger. So you can do this for heavy burst, but with only 500 pierce, it's not going to do as much damage to the big ships as you think. So you can play with this one. I think it'll be fun to stack a bunch of psi power on it and just try to nuke stuff, especially along with your Titan. Subsume energy. I think this is a very good supporting skill for all of this ships to have on your fleet. So let's say you do get all three. I think Subsume energy is probably going to be one of the priority skills to get across it. And then Volatile Plasma, you probably want one of them or one of these ships to carry it, and the other two can go Psykinetic Blast and Subsume energy. And then you get one with full Volatile Plasma. So then the two that have Psykinetic Blast are shooting the blast on cooldown and kind of pushing stuff out of range of these guys. For every stack that they have on them with Volatile Plasma, they have to move back into range to fight you, and you're essentially letting Volatile Plasma do damage while the ship is out of range, while both of you are out of range of each other. So it does just a little bit extra damage. And I think that's pretty much it. I think self-explanatory skills. Let's see if I have one. There's a plasma shot right there. I'm gonna see what it does real quick. Slow that down. So it's gonna hit it. Yeah, it did a nice chunk, and you can see that it pushed it pretty decent amount. And I think can't really do anything while it's getting pushed like that. So that'll be interesting to see what it does. It's a kind of a pseudo stun that we've been lacking a little bit on our faction. I know that the where am I looking? Why am I blanking on what it's called? Revelation. I know the Revelation has kind of a pseudo stun on it, just because it's got the Reverie skill, which you can use to disable a ship and do shield damage, and I think it's going to be quite interesting to play with this. And then as far as weapons go, I do want to talk about those quickly. Oh, that beam is annoying. There we go. Alright, so we are very heavy plasma. Get rid of the arcs so I can zoom in. So we do have such heavy plasma damage. I think that going plasma builds is probably the best way to go for the bruiser one. So the volatile plasma, whichever one of them you use, and probably the other two as well actually. You definitely want the plasma nova on it because you get the 10% reload on your passive, and you get a planet bombing reduction. You also get the plasma agitator, which most of the Advent ships don't really use this one just because they have such mixed damage profiles, that this is one that I don't typically see that often, but definitely get it. 75% at all times is going to be quite significant on this ship. Vex Amplifier, absolutely get this one. I believe it's got a 30 or 35% psi power to it. Let me quickly get these upgraded. And there's 3. Okay, yeah, so it's got a 30% psi power multiplier. So just getting those 3 items on here bumped you up to a little bit over 400 damage with all of your plasmas, and everything is 750 pierce or higher on those front ones, and I wasn't counting any of the rear facing plasmas. But definitely, if you are fighting this ship, don't chase it unless you can outrange those heavy plasmas, which they're pretty far. Energy weapon damage, we do not need it, just because the only things that we have that would use it is the lasers, and it's my personal recommendation, just stick with plasma and ignore the lasers completely. After that, you've got really two options. You can either go full defense, or you can go into the utility tree. I think getting the ship kill experience item early is interesting, to let you get levels that much quicker, especially if you're getting into fights where you know that this ship is going to be safe. I do recommend getting, at least for a little while, probably for the first 2 levels, maybe even 3 levels, grab this bonus experience just to get there quicker. As a Wrath player, I think getting the Harmony circuit is almost a given on all capital ships as long as you can afford it, just because we already have so much psi power that we can get, just not for free, but just get everywhere. So we get our training tree here. Psionic Dynamo, I don't know if this is one to put on here, because depending on what build you go, if you go Psykinetic, I would say get it, because you'll probably be getting just these two back and forth, and you'll have early game you'll have 2 shots of this plus 1 shot of this, so that'll give you 30 psi power immediately, and then your second one will get it to 40, so it'll slowly ramp up your Psykinetic blasts. Brilliance Array, I think put that on a different ship in your fleet, just kind of skip it on this one. There's other ships that I think are more appropriate for it. The ones that come to mind are like the Progenitor or the Revelation, are the two that really come to mind, or even the Halcyon if you get to late game. And then for defensive ones, I really like the structural force fields. We've got 9,425 hull on this ship, and this bumps it up to 11,000. And every bonus of hull points that you get gives you that much shorter of a shield burst cooldown. So I really like to get the extra hull points on here. The synchronous shields, I think absolutely you get this one. It is 50% bonus shield points, and then 50% bonus on shield restore points, which, if my memory is correct, that means a shield burst does your entire shield battery again. So I'm going to quickly get that one. We're at like 11,000 shield. This gets you up to 16,000 shield, which is almost an eternity to get through. And then if the shield burst does proc, you definitely get some really good shield bursts. Psykinetic plating, I'm kind of mixed about that one. We only have 1815 to start with, so if we go from 1815 to 2640, maybe you do get it, but I think I would rather have the Inducer, which gives you a whole bunch of extra shields. Alright, this gives you another 50% shields on a 6-minute cooldown. You can use it once, and this is with psi power on, and you'll see I still only have 100 on this ship, and it's got a great scaling to it. So I think that this is going to be your bruiser build, which would be a volatile nanite build ship, probably with the Subsume energy. And you probably want, like I said, I think you want Subsume on everything, because you never want the duration to fall off. You're just going to have to go one by one and cast them when it cools down. And then I think, again, 2 on this one, 2 ships going with the Psykinetic blast, all 3 getting Subsume energy, and then the volatile plasma on at least one, possibly the second one. It'll just kind of depend on how the enemy fleet is moving. And then for the psi power build, where did I have that one? There it is. So I did say Harmony Circuit, I did say Psionic Dynamo, and you're going to be going with the Psykinetic Blast. This ship has a bonus of, looks like 165 bonus psi power between these items and other things. So with all that psi power, you definitely want, I still think you want the synchronous shield no matter what, just because that shield is so much higher. And I only have the one item, and which actually it's the only one that gives you bonus shields, but you're almost at 30,000 shields at level 10, with all the researches and everything. So that's a huge amount of shields. I do think Plasma Agitator is so good that you want to keep it on this ship. And the Vex Amplifier, because you have so much psi power on the ship, you'll notice that you get a ridiculous like 84% weapon reload, which with all this pierce and with that amount of weapon count, you're just doing so much damage just with the Vex, just with the Plasma Agitator, and then the psi power you've built up. I do have the Votary Siphon on here just to give you that little bit more of bonus psi power, and I think this is a great build if you're going to go Psykinetic Blast. As you can see, it's a 20-second cooldown. It's going to push stuff away when you shoot it. I can't see you going wrong with it. Alright. And then pairing it with, we'll talk researches real quick. So I don't think there's anything in the Harmony tree. The biggest one is the psi power in culture that we get in tier 2 for culture. You definitely want to fight in culture if you can get it. We already talked about all the ratios of psi power on this ship, and even just that little bit more is going to increase the damage rather significantly. Then another one, try to pair any fight you can with the Deliverance engine, and hit the Dominating Deliverance on it for that extra weapon reload. Plus you get the bonus of the 15% domination, where you can steal the enemy frigates and cruisers. I'm trying to remember what the other shot is on this one. I don't build it often enough because I play against AI mostly, so ignore that. And then in weapons, you definitely care about psi power, as we talked about. Oh, and I forgot the defensive one. So you get a little bit more, you get even more shield points on your ship. You get even more psi power if you fight on your own planet with this one. So if you get into a fight you're not happy with, retreat into this, get safety, and then come back and fight another day. And then shield, you obviously want shields at any point. You want shield burst cooldown at any point you can get it. And then here's the item for that bonus max shield and shield burst. Beams we don't use, we don't care about. Lasers we have, but we really don't care about them. We care about this row here, is the plasma. So you'll definitely want plasma, and you definitely want to get the plasma weapon. If you can't get to the second tier of it when the ship is coming out, the first one's fine. It's a 50% bonus damage. You're getting extra 25 by going all the way over here, and that's pretty much it. Missiles give us nothing because we don't have any. You definitely want the hull research when you can get it, just because it gives you that much more cushion to wait for a shield burst, and anything we can do to stay alive longer is a good thing. And then we have the max armor point bonus, and then the 2 armor strength upgrades. When you can afford them, also get them, just because of how I talked about how armor works. Alright, and then Unity. Clairvoyance is nice to get. There's really nothing that can go wrong with it. It's just, we use it's kind of a 1-point wonder sometimes, so still good. Culture, we might need culture. Oh, and I think I missed one. And then the Fury of the Wrath. So if you're in your own culture, you get the bonus 20% damage on top of it. So really, this, I mean, we get into such a late game fight out here that I would say that the place that we want to be engaging is when we've got these buffs online. But back to this, so you might need to use proselytize to get that culture, get that bonus side power, and possibly that extra bonus weapon damage. If you're into tier 5 on the Harmony tree. The Chastise ability. So I've been both critical of Chastise, but also at the same time know that you don't want it to be too strong. So for those that don't know, if I remember right, you get 15, 18, 15, 22, and then 30 max speed and turn speed reduction. And you essentially get it for, I think it's, 60 seconds. So you have to have culture dominance where you're using it. You can have an uptime of 67% time, so it's got a 90-second cooldown but a 60-second uptime, and it'll slow down everything that's in the gravity well you use it on. However, because of the way max speed and max turn speed are calculated, you can never the slowest you could ever get a ship, and we're talking like infinite amounts of reduction, is only like 50%. There's really no way to get lower than 50. So that 30% actually calculates out to like a 22 or 23% actual reduction, just the way that the game does its speed calculations. So you already do have, I don't know if I looked at max speed. Max speed of 650. So we did look at the Visari Titan, Super Cap yesterday, and that had 600. So you're already base faster than it, but it can definitely outspeed you later on in the game if it gets enough of the items. Now, Avatar is only going to be used for psi power for us. Energy weapons is not a buff that this ship really takes advantage of, because I already talked about energy weapons being lasers or beams only. So while I'm sure that the psi power, the extra 100 psi power is actually going to be quite significant, especially for the Vex amplifier, that's going to get you up over 100% bonus reload. So this is only going to be used if you're going to go for a psi power build, and it's my opinion that putting it on your Titan would be more beneficial, because you get the beams and the laser upgrades as well on this one. But it's AoE, so really you put it on this ship for the psi power, and then everything around it gets the bonus. Now it's going to be up to you if you're going to use the psi power bonus for unity mass on your Titan, because this is a 1-to-1 unit or psi power bonus on the damage. So it's possible that you're going to drop it here, and then this one just happens to be in the area when it's being used. Fury, I think, has a good potential to stack with the Volatile Plasma. So you can get a bunch of stacks of Volatile Plasma, get a bunch of stacks of Fury on something, and you'll do pretty significant damage to it pretty quickly. The problem will be you want to wait until the Psykinetic Blast gets dropped, because you'll use that 3-second of duration as your stun in Fury to do that much more bonus damage, and then go from there. And then Conversion, this is, I think, kind of irrelevant with this ship. Where's my plasma one? This is my plasma upgraded one. No, it's my psi power one. Either way, you have 32.5 bombing damage per second. This one is all plasma. Yeah, this one's all plasma. Level 1, you have 23 bombardment damage, so it's going to be quite high. And then ships that would be good to support this. So obviously you have your own ships, you also have your Titan. Then you'll have the Revelation, I think is a great one to have, especially leveled with max guidance. That will give you that additional cooldown that you need if you're going to use the sniping build, and it'll give you that extra side power to do even more damage. So you'll want, I would say you probably want at least one per super capital just to keep that up, and then you'll probably also want another one for your Titan. So you'd want 4 of these if you've got all 3 super capitals in your Titan. Rapture, you want probably 1 if not 2. You definitely want Vertigo and Malice if you can get it. Vengeance might not be a bad idea because the ship is so big. It's finally something that can take advantage of Vengeance, but I'm not 100% sure. Vengeance might actually be bugged at this point, and maybe not something that you want to use on it. Domination would be good if you have something like Hashikos that you can steal, or other support ships that you can steal. But those are really the only ones you're going to want to steal. You don't really care about the damage ones. Once you're at super capitals, you want all support cruisers at that point. Halcyon, you would want this one because you want telekinetic push to protect your ship from missiles. Anything to prevent Canrex from killing this, anything to prevent Javelus from killing this. So a couple of these just for telekinetic push, just to keep it alive a little bit longer. Progenitor, you definitely would want this with shield regeneration. And Rebirth, I'm not even sure if Rebirth works for super capitals or not. I'd have to test that. But definitely as a shield regeneration, probably as a carrier for the, what did I call it? The Brilliance Array. Probably a carrier Brilliance Array. And then Radiance, I think this one's a little self-explanatory. Detonate antimatter helps to silence whatever target is there and remove antimatter. Animosity will keep those pesky frigates and cruisers off of your super capital while your super capital dominates. And then otherwise, you might actually want Acolytes. Even if they die almost instantly, you can use them as a very, very quick antimatter projection to add just a little bit more antimatter to your fleet. Like I said, even if they get hit by flak and die almost instantly, it may not be the end of the world just to get like a free 30 antimatter for a pretty cheap amount and a pretty quick burst of it. All of the frigates I don't think are really great for supporting it. You would probably want some Vigilus if there's a lot of enemy missile spam, because you don't have any point defense on your ship itself. So you would consider getting some Vigilus. The Guardian has such low shields compared to these, so I don't know how much it's going to help, because it's probably got like 3,000 shields and you have like 10,000 shields. So for the first 1,500, you and a Guardian will share some damage, but after that, maybe switch to a second Guardian or something. So you'll probably want some Guardians, but they may not be perfect. Definitely the Domina for stealing enemy antimatter. The Illuminator and the Destra. Destras I think are going to be a good choice just because you end up already going so far down the plasma tree. And then once you're tier 4, you can just keep going plasma. And then you have the tankiest cruiser alongside you to support. And then Illuminators because the beams are good. And if you've got a lot of enemy ships that you need to take care of that ball up or that you need the range for, the Illuminator is going to help you out there. Trying to think if that's, I think that's going to be it. Where's my side build?
Plasma core stabilized.
So very excited to see what this ship is capable of. I think it's going to be pretty good, and I look forward to using it in some future games. So let me know what you think, and see you in the next video. Let's see if we can get another shot off. Looks like it has to face it. Yeah, it's a cool looking shot though. Is it gonna bonk it? Yep, bonks it. Kills it. That was pretty cool. Alright. That's it for this ship. Look forward to what you guys have to say, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.